giving me a wonderful opportunity to share my learning on the two important frameworks which revolutionized the educational field, outcome-based education and Bloom's taxonomy. The academicians who understand the interrelation of the two frameworks can create engaging and purposeful learning environment that promotes critical thinking, creativity, and holistic development among the student community. The present session is divided into two parts. And in the first part, let us focus on outcome-based education. And in the second part, let us discuss how the application of Bloom's taxonomy help in achieving the goals of outcome-based education. What is outcome-based education? Outcome-based education is a kind of an educational theory which emphasizes student-centric approach. There is no single specified style of teaching or assessment followed in outcome-based education. It provides platform for the teachers to apply suitable strategies and methodologies which can be used in teaching and also for assessment. The teachers, while applying the theory, they do not restrict themselves within one role. They are not only teachers, they become instructors, trainers, facilitators. Also, they act as mentors. The sole aim of the theory is to map, measure, and achieve the preset educational goals. It was first introduced by William G. Spady in the year 1988. He is a renowned American academician and a psychologist, and very popular for his attempts to improve the quality of school education. He is best known as the father of outcome-based education. He introduced outcome-based education to revolutionize the entire conventional learning process, which tested only the memorizing skill of the students, and he wanted to test the overall development among the student community, and also he doesn't want to restrict it with time. And outcome-based education provided a way to achieve all these things which William G. Spady aimed for. He introduced, as we discussed, to revolutionize the conventional learning process, and it reached the world. There are many countries which introduced outcome-based education, and still it is being introduced in countries all over the world and at multiple levels. One of the main reasons why outcome-based education is applied worldwide is its innovative approach. It is different from the traditional learning method. It introduces a lot of strategies. It provides a very big platform to test different skill sets of the students. These are all the reasons how outcome-based education is being adopted by multiple levels. Yes. The development among the students is tracked not only in one method, it is tracked by the practical, measurable outcomes that can be effectively shown by students through innovative assessments. Even the goals are not set by somebody else. The particular institution, the teachers, the student community, various stakeholders, they set the goals. They define the goals before the program begins for the students. The predefined goals give a very clear idea to the teachers and also to the students what to teach and what to learn, and what is the purpose of teaching the particular course, what is the purpose of learning the particular course, and what are the things a student should have been taught, and what are the things being a learner I might have learned at the end of the course. All these are preset. So it helps the teachers and also the learners to travel through the course with a very clear idea about the ideas about objectives and the outcomes, why this particular course is supposed to be offered, and what are the outcomes once if the course is learned by the student. All these things give a clear picture about the journey through the course. Why? Why outcome-based education? One very big reason is it is innovative theory. It has included a lot of innovative approaches in it. It provides a lot of opportunities for students to prove their skills at different levels. It gives a very clear idea about the education. The complex idea of education is here in outcome-based education simplified. These are all the ideas which make many of the institutions to adapt it. And main idea is to improve different aspects of education to ensure optimal learning among the student community. Improving communication skills, promoting lifelong learning, inculcating professionalism, creating awareness on work ethics, preparing the students for teamwork, assisting the students to set individual goals, simplifying complex education into simple terms, and honing analytical and problem-solving skills. All these are the aspects, different aspects of outcome-based education, which pave way for the students to learn the maximum during their study period. As the result, the implementation of the OBE is measurable. The educational institutions are attracted because of this particular reason also. It is practically measurable. We set the goals, we set the outcomes as measurable outcomes. So the proofs are there to see the growth among the students. So these are the reasons why outcome-based education can be supported, can be implemented, can be encouraged. If an institution wishes to implement outcome-based education in it, the first thing it has to focus is framing a mission statement. The mission statement should talk about the commitment. The commitment is to help every single student and to help every single student to see some kind of growth during the period of education. and the suitable methodologies to be adopted to achieve the mission of the institution. A clear definition of exit outcome that students need to show before the completion of their graduation. What are all the things the particular set of students should have learned before they submit their program? We call it a program. When it is a 3-year degree or 4-year degree in engineering institutions, we call it a program. So before the completion of the program, what are all the things the student should have learned? And to achieve this, we need a well-structured, clearly defined, and highly effective curriculum base. It will support, if the curriculum is very strong, if the curriculum is very effective, it will support in achieving the predetermined exit outcome. And multi-method system. Multi-method system is adapted to make the teaching approach and delivery most effective in helping students achieve the desired outcomes. Not one particular method is used here. Any method which is suitable for the set of the students to achieve the exit outcome can be adopted and applied by the teacher. The freedom what the teacher enjoys here is something significant and to be noted. And this particular freedom helps the teachers to frame right kind of strategies and adopt right kind of methodologies to implement the particular course lessons in the classrooms. Classroom delivery becomes better in the hands of the teachers when they apply multi-method system. When a multi-method system is approached in classroom delivery, obviously in assessment also it has to be applied. So a system of assessment based on referencing by preset outcome-based criteria is must here. So when we the teachers plan for the assessment, we are expected to look at map the outcomes also. The assessment should support the system to check whether the students are able to reach the goals which have already been set. And also a consistent commitment to improve staff collaboration and accountability is needed to ensure effective leadership in education. A well-organized and dynamic database is also required because technology plays a very big role in implementing outcome-based education in the institutions. So when we introduce a dynamic database with detailed definitions of outcomes, key factors for evaluating effectiveness, and improving conditions that ensure success in achieving the exit outcomes. What are the advantages of implementing OBE? Already in short, we discussed. These are all the significant benefits what every institution enjoys when it introduces OBE in its curriculum. The first one is applicability. It makes the students to understand how relevant the curriculum is to improve their capability to achieve the maximum proficiency in professional skills. I think this is the most important thing which encourages the institutions to go for OBE, because once when the student is aware of the reason for learning the course, he shows interest on the course to learn. So this is what applicability is. Again, it is, as we discussed already, it is a student-centric approach. Meanwhile, it is extremely teacher-friendly too. It is a teacher-friendly, student-centric educational theory. Here, teachers get a wider platform to integrate anything that they wish to. Any suitable approach can be integrated here in teaching process and also in the assessment process. Throughout the processes at all levels, from framing syllabus to assessment, at all levels, students are aware of the process. Students are very much aware of, students, teachers, and all the stakeholders are aware of the process and the result. So conceptual clarity is there. This method offers a robust and reliable curriculum framework for effective teaching and learning. It is a proven framework. It unifies the comprehensive curriculum and prevents confusions. It holds the OBE holds the entire curriculum together, and it makes the curriculum a very standard one. And accountability. When we talk about accountability, the specific outcomes are already set for every aspect of education. So judging the process and effectiveness of the adopted study plans, lesson plan delivery, curriculum, and measuring the process, measuring the learning levels, measuring the success of delivery of the lessons. All these things can be done at all levels, and it helps to understand how far the curriculum reaches the students, and the methodologies can be changed if we come to know that it is not effective. So it makes the individual students' learning easy and effective. Of course, the students are made to become aware of the learning process. So they adapt here. Self-learning, lifelong learning is one of the most important phrases related to OBE. So here, it ensures that students follow self-directed learning methods, which makes them more responsible for their education. So students, they learn by themselves. They can also adapt suitable methodologies to learn. They can speak to the teachers. Because teachers are not only teachers here, they are trainers, they are mentors. So the gap between the teacher and the student is already lessened. So here, students feel comfortable to try their own method of learning. Flexibility, obviously, we know from framing the syllabus to assessing the course outcomes. It provides a lot of space to introduce anything that is required for the students. So immense flexibility is there. It does not monitor the educational strategy or course delivery in a rigid manner. The teachers can easily make adjustments and changes to the existing approach at any point in the academic year. The freedom is with the teachers. They can change the methodology at any point in the academic year to ensure the optimal effectiveness in learning. If it will, the change of methodology, if it will bring in a better result, a better learning for a student, yes, the teachers can change the methodology. Assessment, yes, we know very well that OBE promotes effective ways of assessment. Performance-based assessments are more consistent here. E-learning assessment tools are used for evaluations, and the standards of academic progress that students achieve is very important here than the time it takes for them to achieve the results. So the next is curriculum evaluation. Curriculum evaluation, very rarely done in the traditional method, but here in OBE, it is in practice. It welcomes contributions from different stakeholders, as we discussed already. Different stakeholders take part in framing the syllabus, introducing the assessment, providing training to the students. And by this way, when different stakeholders are introduced, yes, the educational process undergoes a lot of modifications, and the modifications determine the most effective outcomes. And it keeps on assessing. Every view helps the system to assess the curriculum it has introduced. Also the goals, the predetermined goals which we have introduced from the mission statement to POs, PEOs and COs. All these assist the institution to evaluate its curriculum. The implementation process. The implementation of outcome-based education involves a two-step process. The first one is identifying the education outcome. The education outcome should be identified clearly and communicated explicitly to the teachers and the learners. The next step is outcome-centric education process. While designing the curriculum and preparing the content for the curriculum, the focus must be on the outcome. The teaching methods and the education strategies should be aligned with the predetermined outcome. The various steps involved in implementing OBE are all these. The first step in implementing OBE technique in an institution involves a thorough self-assessment. Collecting detailed data about the present curriculum, evaluating the management and operational standards of the institution, and collecting feedback from the stakeholders, from every stakeholder, like students, teachers, parents, administrators. This feedback also will help us to assess the requirements. All these things will help the institution to assess what is its requirement. The second step is to define the outcomes clearly. We can do this by analyzing the information collected from various stakeholders and evaluating the needs of the institution. Outcomes are also defined by identifying the skills and goals, what we want our students to acquire and achieve. The successful implementation of OBE is based on the communication, collaborative communication between the stakeholders and the decision makers. The process requires a very detailed feedback from as we discussed in the first point, very detailed feedback from the students, including alumni, teachers, parents, industry experts, um, experts from various universities and other colleges and universities, administrators, all these feedback and the evaluation of the feedback uh, and the communication, collaborative communication, what do we have after the evaluation of the feedback, uh, help in identifying the outcomes and mapping the outcomes. Once when the exit outcomes have been clearly defined, we should find a connection between the main outcome and short-term goals. For example, if uh, the main outcome of the institution is the particular program is to make the students good at e-marketing strategies, the correlating short-term goal should be able to measure the time and effort the student has to spend on mastering the e-marketing strategies during the particular course period. Yes, when defining contributions, students are the most important stakeholders in OBE, and their contribution helps in evaluating the success of OBE. Evaluations such as exams, not only exams are evaluations here, we know that very well. Exams are there, but not exams are the only method of evaluation. A lot of other methodologies are adapted here. So like assignments, seminars, quizzes, and also other activities can be used to check whether the students have mastered the particular area which the course aims him to specialize. The result of these evaluations help us to know the extent of achievement and the pace of progress in academic learning. If required, in the middle of the semester, changes can be made, and a suitable learning method or suitable assessment method can be introduced to ensure the successful learning. Consistent evaluations. Yes, not at the end of the semester. We test the students throughout the semester, throughout the study period. Evaluations are made. So it is an important factor to successfully implement OBE teaching methods. It involves getting feedback from students at every stage of education. For example, when the content is delivered, when the tests are being conducted, activities are being allocated, at all levels, the feedbacks can be collected from the students. It will help in easily identifying the areas of improvement in curriculum, lesson plan delivery, and also assessment, and it ensures that students achieve the desired results at the end of the course. At the end of the study period, they are able to acquire the desired result, what we aim for. Yes, these are the different types of outcomes, what we usually frame. Course outcomes, program specific outcomes, and program educational outcomes. These outcomes should be mapped with objectives, mapped with the pre-determined goals already, which we have set for the programs. And also they have to be mapped with the PEOs, Program Educational Objectives, and also POs. Course outcomes. What are these course outcomes? When course outcomes are introduced, the course outcomes give a very clear idea to the teacher and the student why the particular course is being offered in that particular semester and what is the end result will be. What a student is going to learn after learning the course. What are all the skills he or she might have learned at the end of the period. So statements focusing on knowledge and the skills achieved through the course. We have to focus here. When we are planning the course outcomes, we should focus on the statements which focus on knowledge of the student after the course is taught, and also the skills what the student might have learned after learning this particular course. These course outcomes are the objectives that are achieved at the end of any semester. These are the elements of technical or soft skills that each student must acquire prior to the completion of the specific course, specific subject, paper, whatever it is. Course outcome is designed to support and be measurable against POs. Course outcomes are supposed to be mapped with program outcomes of the particular program. For example, if there is a course called drama in English literature, the course drama should be mapped with the program outcomes. Maybe 8 to 12 program outcomes are planned before the program is being introduced, and the course outcomes should be mapped with the one of the program, minimum of one of the program outcomes. Maximum any number of program outcomes we can map it with. And CO is very specific to each individual course. It is very specific. It focuses only on the particular course, the knowledge and the skills related to the particular course, not beyond that. So it is limited to the particular course. Next comes program outcomes, broader statements, not limited like course outcomes. Program outcomes are broader statements. They indicate what learners are likely to know and able to perform after graduation, at the time of graduation. What are all the things they might have learned after the 3-year period of study? What kind of knowledge and what kind of skill set they may be mastering at the end of the program. This is what the program outcomes focus. POs are the objectives achieved at the end of any specialization or any discipline. They are mapped while a student is doing graduation and determined when they get a degree. We assess the POs while the student is completing the degree. Again, when we compare PEOs with the PEOs, PEOs are narrower statements. They describe what the students are expected to know and be able to do by the time of graduation, not after the graduation. After the graduation, within 3 to 5 year period, we have PEOs, Program Educational Objectives, applying the learning, whatever they have got from the institution in the society. To assess that, we have PEOs. When we compare PEOs and POs, POs are narrower statements. So how do we frame the POs? POs are framed to assess the knowledge, cognitive levels of the students, skills, and also soft skills, behavior and attitude of the student. What do they acquire during the period of the study? Program specific outcomes Not all the institutions focus on this, but they are related specifically to the particular specialization. Program educational objectives, a minimum of 2 or 3 program educational outcomes are introduced for every program, and they focus on the achievement of graduates during their career. Not when the graduate is inside the campus, we assess this. We assess the program education. We apply the program educational outcomes after the student leaves the institution. So program educational objectives are broad statements that describe the career and professional accomplishment that the program is preparing graduates to achieve within 3 to 5 years after graduation. How the knowledge and the skill sets are applied in a career after 3 years and before 5 years. 3 to 5 years time we take to assess this, and based on that, the changes can be brought in the curriculum. So in short, if we have to view, we can view it with the help of this particular picture. See, this is how we get inputs from various stakeholders, and vision and mission statements are framed for the institutions, for the department. Then program educational objectives are introduced. For example, we have 3 program educational objectives for our Department of English. And for program outcomes, we have separate program educational objectives and program outcomes for UG and PG. 8 program outcomes we have for UG and 12 program outcomes we have for PG. Then for every course, we have 5 course outcomes. We have 3 objectives and 5 course outcomes. These objectives and outcomes give a very clear idea about the course and how the course is going to support us to achieve program outcomes. And the program outcomes help us to understand how are we going to achieve program educational objectives. And while we assess the PEOs, we come to know how it is going to be helpful for us in achieving, fulfilling our mission. So this is how OB is being implemented. And assessment part is given this side. Instead, first assessment, what do we do here is, again, from the down, lesson plan, assessment based on the lessons. Course assessment is done, then program assessment is done, and then at last institutional assessment is done. And all these assessments are continuous assessment, and they are mapped. It helps us to understand whether the course is helpful to fulfill our mission, which is very important for every program. In short, yes. So establishing mission statements, framing program educational objectives. These are the first thing. Why this particular program should be offered by this institution. That will help us to frame mission statement, thinking about evaluating the purpose of the program. What is the reason for the institution to offer a particular program for 3-year period of time or for 4-year period of time? How is it going to be beneficial to the society and to the student community? All these kinds of, and how, in what way it is going to provide employment opportunity for the students. By analyzing all these things, a mission statement can be formed. Then we frame program educational objectives. Then program outcomes. When we come to program outcomes, Bloom's taxonomy comes in. Mapping program educational objectives with the program learning outcomes. It is the most important step in OBE. We define course objectives for each course, and based on the objectives, the lesson plan is, lessons are prepared and the lesson plans are prepared. Course delivery is also based on that, based on the objective of the course. And then outcomes are framed. When the course outcomes are supposed to be evaluated, Bloom's taxonomy comes in to assist us. Every course outcome should be mapped with the program outcomes at various levels, and mapping course outcomes with program outcomes, we can do it very easily with the help of Bloom's taxonomy, and this is an important step to check whether the program, all the courses assist us to achieve what we have planned in program outcomes. And mapping the assessment pattern with the COs of each course. Then mapping the topics with every course may consist of 5 units and 4 units or 5 units, sometimes 6 units. And every unit has its own topics. And we have to check whether each topic is mapped with COs. In all the ways, the lessons, what do we deliver in the classroom should be mapped with the outcomes, objectives, and the outcomes. It ensures the learning process. It ensures whether the students are able to learn what is required. What do we aim for? What is required for him to find a better employment opportunity, and what has to be taught by the teacher to assist him to fit himself to function as a very good professional in the selected field. And pedagogical tools, of course, here the teachers have complete freedom. They can define any pedagogical tool for course outcome delivery. And session-wise course lesson planner is planned. And questions, when we frame the questions, we apply Bloom's taxonomy levels, and assessments are done based on Bloom's taxonomy. Here the rubrics of Bloom's taxonomy are applied, and it helps us to track the students' performance. And not only it is stopped with evaluating, the evaluation brings in both the results. A set of students who achieved the required, assured, expected level, and a set of students who are not able to reach the expected level of expertise in that particular field. When the students are not able to meet the requirement, again, remedial measures are brought in. Remedial measures can be brought in course-wise, and measuring students' performance, again, COs are course-wise done. Measuring students' performance against POs are semester-wise done. And it is when we do it, when we measure the attainment of each PO, we apply direct or indirect assessment, and it is done at the end of the study. So comparing POs for the last 3 academic years help the institution, help the particular department to propose remedial actions to make the curriculum better. So this is how Bloom's taxonomy comes into outcome-based education to make outcome-based education a successful educational theory or framework. So now we are moving over to the second part of the session, that is Bloom's taxonomy in outcome-based education. Yes. It was introduced. It is a widely recognized framework used to classify educational objectives and also to define different levels of learning. It is a widely used framework. A lot of experiments have already been done. We have a revised taxonomy also. Actually, it was introduced by Benjamin Bloom in the year 1956, along with 4 collaborators. He introduced a framework for categorizing educational goals in the book called The Taxonomy of Educational Objectives. It was put it into practice. Number of educational institutions were practicing it. When the educational systems were moving ahead, changes were required, and a set of cognitive psychologists revised the theory in the year 2001, and they made a few changes in the Bloom's taxonomy and introduced a revised taxonomy, a taxonomy for teaching, learning, and assessment in the year 2001. There are a few changes. The base is the same, what Benjamin Bloom introduced as the framework by categorizing it as knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. The base is the same, but two major changes were done. We'll discuss. In Bloom's word, what knowledge is. Let us have a brief discussion on what Benjamin Bloom tried to convey by categorizing the educational goals under 6 categories. According to him, knowledge involves recalling the specifics, recalling the universals, the recall of methods or processes, the recall of patterns, the recall of structures, the recall of setting. This is what Benjamin Bloom meant by the goal knowledge. The next one is comprehension, and comprehension refers to a type of understanding or apprehension such that the individual knows what is being communicated and can make use of the material or idea being communicated without necessarily relating it to other method or seeing it with its fullest implication. Simply understanding whatever has been taught to him without comparing it with other thing or applying it on something. He simply comprehends and understands what is being taught to him. This is what Bloom's meant by comprehension. Application, use of abstractions in particular and concrete situations, applying something what he has learned in concrete situations. Analysis, breaking down something and analyzing it, examining it. Breakdown of a communication into its constituent elements or parts such that the relative hierarchy of ideas is made clear, or the relations between the ideas expressed are made explicit. Breaking a complex thing into a smaller pieces, analyzing them, and explicitly presenting the ideas, comparing them, or presenting the relationship between them. And the next one is synthesis. It involves putting together of elements and parts so as to form a whole. Earlier one is breaking into smaller ones. Here, collecting the smaller ones and putting them together and to make it a wholesome one. The last part is evaluation, judgments about the value of material and methods used for different purposes. So these are the definitions what Benjamin Bloom gave for his categorized educational goals. When it is revised and introduced as revised Bloom's taxonomy in the year 2001, they made 2 changes. That is, in both the taxonomies, the original and the revised ones, both the taxonomies rise from the basic knowledge through more sophisticated levels of cognition. From knowledge to evaluation or create, they rise up. In both the lower level skills act as the foundation. In both the taxonomies, lower level thinking acts as the foundation for higher order thinking. What is the difference between the 2 taxonomies is the noun forms are here converted to verb forms. And also there is a change in the higher order thinking skills. With the structure creating becomes the highest level here. The area meant for generating ideas or constituting a new point of view. These are the two changes what the revised Bloom's taxonomy introduced in the year 2001. And most of the educational institutions, they practice the revised Bloom's taxonomy in their curriculum. Yes. And why Bloom's taxonomy is applied in outcome-based education? Every outcome-based education introduces objectives, introduces learning goals, and the goals are measurable. How to measure the goals? We need an assessment system, and the assessment system is Bloom's taxonomy. To assess whatever the goals are, predetermined goals are to the particular course, to the particular program, to the particular curriculum. It is evaluated through Bloom's taxonomy. It is an evaluation system. It helps to assess the learning goals of a course, a program, not only a course, but also a program. So goals are very important to establish a pedagogical interchange so that the teachers and the students understand the purpose of that interchange. And organizing these objectives help in getting clarity about objectives for the teachers, and also transferring the same to the students. Having an organized set of objectives help the teachers to plan and deliver clear instructions. It helps them to design valid assessment tasks. It helps the teachers to apply right kind of strategies. The organized set of objectives ensure that the instruction and the assessment are aligned with the objectives. So it ensures, Bloom's taxonomy ensures that instruction and assessment are aligned with the objectives, and they assist the teacher in designing instructional strategies for each cognitive level, from knowledge to creativity. And the role of Bloom's taxonomy in incorporating assessment method and assisting the assessment of learning outcomes lead to the successful implementation of outcome-based education. Here is a list of assessment methods aligned with Bloom's taxonomy for each cognitive level. For remembering, we can have multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks, match the following, true or false. And also we can ask the students to recall the facts or ask them to write the definitions. To test their understanding, comprehending ability, how far they have understood the concept. We can have short answer questions. We can ask them to summarize a passage or a text. We can ask them to present the main idea discussed under the topic. We can ask them to present the key concepts, or we can also ask them to explain the concept in their own words. When we come to the application level, problem-solving activities can be introduced, case studies, simulations can be given, designing or creating a product or finding a solution to a problem can be used here. All these ideas can be used here to frame questions. Next is analytical level. When it comes to analytical level, yes, they can be asked to analyze something which is presented. Analytical tasks based questions. which can lead them to compare and contrast, which can make them to identify different patterns or relationship between, or which can help them to construct or interpret charts or graphs. All these types of questions can be asked at analytical level. The next comes evaluating level. Yes, here justifying something, uprising something, critiquing, evaluating the arguments, evaluating the theories, evaluating the works, assessing something is introduced here. Uh, and a persuasive essay can be presented by a student here, or we can ask them to find a solution by evaluating the concept, the sequences, the case study, or also we can ask them to conduct a research based interpretation. Research based investigation can be done at this particular level. Creating, yes, obviously it leads to check the creativity of the student. Project based assignments can be given here, or we can ask them to develop a prototype, develop a model. We can ask them to design something. We can ask them to develop a research proposal, or ask the students to present an innovative solution to the existing problem. Here, the complete freedom is given to the student to introduce innovative solution, presenting innovative solution. Yes, all these assessment methods should be aligned with the specific learning outcomes and the cognitive levels which we target. So it is advisable to follow Bloom's taxonomy while designing the evaluation for continuous internal assessment and also for semester examinations. It can be applied even for other assessment activities. What do we practice? But the practical difficulties are there. Drawbacks are also there. Limited teacher familiarity, teachers time constraint is always there, crowded classrooms, difficult to check it with every student. Technology plays a very big role here. So in OBE also we have a few drawbacks. So these are the things which do not permit us to apply at all levels. But to begin with, we can start it with the continuous internal assessments and semester examinations. So with this, we have come to the end of the session. Outcome-based education and Bloom's taxonomy serve as wonderful frameworks to design a curriculum, develop learning objectives, and assess students' progress. By providing a structured approach to cognitive development, they empower teachers to facilitate meaningful learning experiences and nurture students' intellectual growth. So if we understand the significance of interrelating Bloom's taxonomy with OBE, the results are marvelous. And being the teachers, we can see the result among the student community also. So thank you very much. These are all the resources which I used to prepare this lecture. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your marvelous, understandable presentation on Bloom's taxonomy. If audience have any queries, kindly you can raise your hands so that your your mic will be unmuted. It is question session for the audience. It is open to you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
right now what I see on my screen is Bloom's
Yes.
taxonomy that
Yes.
goes in alignment with OBE, and
Yes.
the part that goes in yellow is unseen, which you explained very well, but I really need to have the screenshot or the photo of it. Could you just make it visible? Because
Sir, I'll share the PowerPoint with the organizers. I think
okay,
they will share it with
okay. Thank you, madam.
you. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Any queries? Any more? Kindly raise your hand so that your mic will be unmuted.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful insights on outcome-based education, Bloom's taxonomy, which is the need of the hour. Wonderful session it was, ma'am.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Can I go? Thank you, dear audience, for the breakup silence through few questions. We have come to the end of this FDB program. Let us close this with a vote of thanks. It is my duty to express my vote of thanks. First of all, my heartfelt thanks to God Almighty, who made everything possible along the 5-day sessions. I take this opportunity to thank our Principal Dr. J. Ratnamala, Secretary Ma'am Dr. V. Vanita, who are source of inspiration, encouragement, and people of initiation to conduct these programs for the benefit of faculty and students all over. My thanks is extended to all the 5 honorable resource persons who have made this day wonderful. Day 1, Dr. S. Subramaniam, Assistant Professor, Chikaya Naikar College, Erode. Day 2, Dr. Prashant Subbarao Moti, Adarsh Mahavidyalaya, Osmanabad, Maharashtra. Third day, Dr. S. Karthik Kumar, Associate Professor, Deputy Director, IQAC, Annamalai University, Annamalai Nagar. Day 4, Dr. J. Deep, Principal, New Alipur College, Kolkata, West Bengal. Day 5, Dr. Karunambigai, Associate Professor, Sri Ramakrishna College, Coimbatore. Thanks to you all, ma'am, sirs, You made this 5 days program a wonderful session and helpful to many. Thank you all audience for profound knowledge for your profound knowledge with your presence, queries, and for keeping the sessions going victoriously. My sincere thanks to organizers, especially Dr. Ram Manohar Pari, Mr. Jiva from the Department of English, and my sincere thanks to all the faculty members of English department who gave a helping and sincere hand to conduct this program, a wonderful session. Thank you once again, and thank everybody, and especially the audience who made the session wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Participants, you may leave now. Participants are requested be in the WhatsApp group till getting your certificate. Feedback link will be posted in the WhatsApp group.